Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sampson, Stephanie Phillips with our second show for the evening. We have Eric Goodman, Las Vegas Justice of the Peace, Department 11. But before we get to Judge Goodman, Ms. Phillips.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us, everybody. And thank you to all of our sponsors. We have Semper Fi Heating and Cooling. It is hot out there. If you need your system checked, get in touch with them. Their website is callsemperfi.com. Callsemperfi.com. We also have Henderson's mayor, Michelle Romero. She's running for re-election, and her website is votemichelleromero.com. Votemichelleromero.com. Get in touch with her. We also have congressional candidate Cody K. Whipple. He's running for CD4, District 4. His website is codykforcongress.com. That's the number 4, codykforcongress.com. Jump on his website and check out his platform. Also, don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. You can get a copy on Amazon. It is $14.99. If you are a litigant in family court and you don't have an attorney and you can't afford one, this is a self-help book. It will help you navigate that system. So grab your copy. Also, we have a merch store, VIPImerch.com, VIPImerch.com. We have all kinds of fun things for you to check out there. Also, don't forget to grab your tickets to the Valentine's Ball. It is February 7th of 2026, but get your tickets now before August 31st because they are on sale for $99. We've never sold them that cheap before, and after August 31st, they are going to go up. So grab your tickets now. The link for those is on our Facebook pages. Also, if you want to advertise on our show, like these sponsors here, with a yard sign, get in touch with Steve or I. And if you are the first one to advertise with us in your race, we will not advertise your opponents. For my rant today, I'm going to do just a short one, but Steve and I were down at the county commission yesterday. And as some of you saw, we testified twice. 2 different subjects, and the second one at the end of the meeting, we were talking about CPS, Child Haven, and DCFS. It's a very emotional subject, and we advocate for family court litigants that are dealing with CPS. So Steve went over, well, I went over too, but Steve went over and Commissioner Segerbloom cut his microphone, which he was not happy about. But I would say this, when it's not like we come down there and talk about nonsense. This was a very important subject. It's our children and how they're affected. And I would say use some discernment, some judgment, give some grace on that 3-minute time limit because, and also to who's down there, they're testifying. We're not talking about the street light is out down the road. These are our children. So I would just say use some discernment, please, and grace with that time, depending on subject matter.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
You're welcome.
Judge Goodman.
You really don't like family court.
No, it's not that I don't like it.
Is it CPS or is it family court?
I just don't like the corruption that goes along with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And the civil rights violation and the judicial canon violation and the Nevada Revised Statute violation and just treating litigants like they're crap. I just don't like that. I mean, if you're going to be a judge, you should treat litigants respectfully. I mean, if they disrespect you, that's different. But if they're not, why are you talking down to them?
Well, it's important.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if you're a judge, everybody should be a blank slate when they come in front of you.
Absolutely.
Whatever they've done before they walked in the door, that should go away.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody is like, it's a fresh start every time they come in front of you, or else you shouldn't be a judge.
Right. You've been a judge, what, 17 years now?
17 years. It'll be 18 years next year.
Okay.
But yeah, 17 years.
Could you give us a bio, please?
You want the short version or the long version?
The long one.
The long version.
Well, the day you were born.
Okay. That's the long one. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I was born in 1971, March of 1971. I was adopted. Okay. I've got 2 older brothers. You may know Ross.
Ross,
who's a lawyer.
I think he wants to be the number one criminal lawyer. There's some vote going on social media for him or something like that. I saw.
Yes. You received the emails and the texts? Yeah. I've got my brother Ross, who's a year older than me, who's a defense attorney in Las Vegas. I've got my other brother Oscar, who there's no nice way of putting it, but hopefully you never meet him because he's an oncologist and he treats cancer patients.
Okay.
So if you know Oscar, it's rarely for good reason.
Okay.
Probably because unfortunately you have cancer and you're seeing him for treatment. So he's
I
a great.
hear he's a very good dog. One of my friends went to him that had cancer, and he was very caring, knowledgeable, and she spoke very highly.
Oh,
of
thank
him.
you.
Yes.
I love to
And
hear
by
that.
the way, I love your parents.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
I do too.
Oscar, the senior,
Yeah.
he's my bud.
Tell people who your parents are for the ones that don't know.
Well, real quick, let me mention my sister, because if I don't mention my sister, she'll be mad at
She's
me.
mad at you.
I've got a younger sister, Kara, who was 2 years younger than me. Until recently, I think she kind of retired from that position. She was working at UMC as a therapist for burn patients. And that's a difficult job because I think most of the people she was training were children who had received burns. So that was what she'd done for over a decade.
So you mentioned that you're adopted
Yes, we're all adopted.
by all of you.
All four of us are
See, a
adopted.
lot of people, I knew that because of the history I had with Oscar and in Carolina. I knew that, and me and Ross, we used to hang out every once in a while. I knew that, but a lot of people. What were you going to say?
Did you guys tell Marine stories? Because Ross, Ross.
Yes.
Ross, being a JAG officer, loves to talk about his days as a Marine and a JAG officer and boot camp and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
he had to bring me to my car one day. We're at some event, and he was driving me back, and then we had a long conversation.
Okay.
But yeah. So
Does he overstate his stories from when he was in boot camp?
no.
Okay.
No. One Marine to another, we're good. We understand each other.
Okay.
You know, we don't even have to talk. We just look at each other. And we nod. We're good.
Okay.
That means they both embellish.
So please explain who your parents are in the adoption, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very, very good story.
Yeah. No, we were. My parents, of course, Oscar Goodman and Carolyn Goodman.
Both mayors.
Both mayors. My father was better known before he became the mayor as a mob lawyer.
Yes.
People would say a mob lawyer represented a lot.
Anybody but Oscar. Review Journal.
Oh, when he ran for mayor?
Oh, you first ran for mayor.
Yeah, when he first ran for mayor was anybody but Oscar. But my dad's reputation, because of the people he represented in Las Vegas and Kansas City and St. Louis and Chicago and Philadelphia, was that he represented people who were accused of being in the mob.
Yeah, he got to make
But-
sure everybody's good.
Yeah, but when Oscar's 2 years older than me, so they started adopting 1969, 1970, 1971, 1973. They weren't anybody. I mean, nobody knew who Oscar and Carolyn Goodman were at that point. They were just, a couple who came out here.
Yes.
My dad set up shop as an attorney. I'm trying to remember whether my mom was working at the Dunes or at Caesar's Palace to support my father while he was starting his practice. So they were really nobody, and they took a chance and they adopted all four of us.
Did you all come from one family? Or?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I have
okay.
zero idea. I've never looked into it.
Okay.
When you win the lottery, you don't really check to see where the ticket came from. And that's what I did. That's what we all did.
Yes.
They had no idea in 1971 that my parents would be who they became. And just like, here's a child, he needs a family, and they adopted me.
Wow.
So I got really lucky, and
Yes.
I hope my parents feel like they got lucky in adopting me.
Yes.
Yeah, but believe me, I thank
that's
God. I
very
thank God
impressive,
every
by the way.
day.
Yes.
I thank God every day
Yes.
how my life turned out because of my
Yes.
parents. And I'm sorry if I'm getting choked up, but
No,
it's,
no,
it's
you're
emotional.
fine.
You're
You're fine. Absolutely.
Yeah. Love my parents, love my family.
Yes.
So thank God every day where I ended up. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I'll move on a little bit. I went to sixth grade center at McKelvey, which is in West Las Vegas. Went to Hyde Park, 7th and 8th grade. Went to Gorman for 1 year in 9th grade. That was not a good fit for me. Then went to Clark for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Graduated from Clark in 1989. And both of my brothers went to Clark. Ross graduated a year before me, Ross 2 years before me. My mom started the Meadows. She wanted to get the Meadows up and running for us, but she couldn't get funding. She couldn't get the property. She couldn't get what she needed to start it because she wanted it for Oscar.
Right.
She couldn't get it on.
Which is your eldest brother.
Yeah, right. My oldest brother. So when my sister went into sixth grade, that's when they finally had the finances, the funding, the property to start the Meadows. And initially started while they were building the Meadows out here. It started in a couple of basically like trailers over by the Meadows Mall. There's an empty piece of property, kind of used to be a Mervyn's, now it's like the Mexican supermarket.
Okay.
There's an empty piece of property, kind of kitty corner from there, and they put a couple trailers on there, and it was first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth grade, and every year my sister went up seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade. They added a grade. So it kind of evolved with my sister.
At Meadows.
At the Meadows. And my sister graduated with two other people. That was the first graduating class.
That was it?
Three people. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I graduated.
Small prom, huh?
I don't think they had one. Honestly, I'm not. You know what? They probably did have one. They probably did have one, and they probably invited everybody. When you're that small, when you're that many people, it's like you want to come.
Right.
You know, it's not like I went to Clark and I went to my prom for Clark and it was massive.
Right.
Although I think Clark is much bigger now than it was back then.
Okay.
I think when I was at Clark, it was only 10th, 11th, and 12th. They didn't have a ninth grade, but I think now they have 9th through 12th. They changed that. Let me get back to me. After I graduated from Clark, I went up to UNR for a year.
Okay.
That was not a right fit for me. I didn't do well up at UNR.
It's too cold up there.
No, I went up with a lot of my friends, and that was the issue. I'm up there with a lot of people in northern Las Vegas, and
then you got into mischief.
I was an 18-year-old. I was an 18-year-old.
You got into mischief.
It wasn't mischief, but I'm away from home. I'm
Right.
up in Reno. All my buddies are around, and yeah, so my
And
parents.
mom and dad wasn't there to put the hammer down.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's the way things were back then. There were no helicopter parents.
Yeah.
You were left to go do your thing. So my parents were like, you're not going back to college. You got to get a job. So how long have you been in Vegas?
95. I'm going on
Okay.
30 years in November.
Okay. There used to be the Carpet Barn on Charleston and Commerce, which is now the Ironworks Place.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But it used to be the Carpet Barn, a carpet place. And I started working when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
I don't know what age you started working, but for us,
About the same.
yeah, I mean, for my parents, like, you're not sitting around all summer, you're going to go work. At 14, I worked at Caesar's Palace as a pool boy. And that's before Caesar's. Like, every casino pool now is like a nightclub.
Right.
It was not a nightclub in like 1985.
Was it at a lifeguard or was it
No, it was like a pool boy. They had
cleaning
these-
the pool?
No, they had these big, heavy wooden lounge chairs.
Okay.
And they had these big, thick pads for the chairs.
Slam down.
Oh, you had to wash them.
Yeah.
They're foam. So you're walking around and family six will come up. You pull 6 of them off, you put them on your shoulder. We want these chairs, or we want these chairs moved over there. Whatever it was. You
Yeah.
know, you're taking care of the customers,
Right.
you're moving chairs, you're cleaning up, you're doing whatever they needed to do.
Right.
Which is my first job where I made tips, which I learned to love tips. And I learned to love people who tipped. But I worked it's true. You grow up in Las Vegas, you appreciate
Yes.
tipping.
Yes.
You appreciate people who tip.
Yes.
So you love the no tax on tip now.
Oh, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. The number of people I knew growing up in the 70s and 80s who were able to build like homes and families working at the casinos. And a lot of that went away when the IRS went at the dealers. And when the casinos became corporate and they started to divvy up the tips, And the person who's working hard as a dealer was no longer being rewarded for their hard work. That money was going everywhere else.
That pisses them off.
Yeah, they're upset about it. I mean, the government got involved in it, and I don't like the government getting involved in people's finances. But yeah, I don't want to rant. You like to rant. I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to rant. But
Have you watched your shows?
I'm very happy.
Have you watched your shows?
I watched some before I came in, just to kind of get an idea of what I was heading into. I wanted to see what kind of lines then I was walking into.
Right.
But I worked there for a summer. The next year, the old MGMs, which is now Bally's, before they built the line, the MGM with the line, I worked there for a summer. And then every summer after that, I worked in the warehouse, so carpet warehouse at the Carpet Barn. And that was one job I had for most of high school, except for one year when I worked at a video store. Before they had Blockbuster, they had Major Video. And,
I remember those.
There's
you had to be a member.
Yeah, well, yeah, back then you had to be a member of all of those. But there was a Major Video on Charleston and Rancho, and I think now it's like a Starbucks. But I worked there for a year to earn money because we had to pay our own way. Even though my parents were my parents, we had to work. So when I left Reno, I went and worked for the carpet. Oh, I'm sorry, I did spend one summer working construction. And I learned very quickly to not want to work construction in the summer in Las Vegas. But when I was 16, I worked for a year doing construction in Vegas. And yeah, that was the toughest job I ever had. Yeah, I mean, digging holes, doing, low man on the totem pole.
Right.
Whatever they need me to do, I did. And it's 110 degrees outside in the summertime. You're out there at 6 o'clock in the morning, working till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, eat a little break. A lot of times I'd have the trucks pull up, get some food, whatever. But yeah, that was a summer. It's an interesting summer. So after Reno, I went back to work at the Carpet Barn. I worked there for a year. I got a 2-bedroom apartment with one of my really good friends, Toby, at that time. And pretty quickly, I realized that college was for me. Doing this, I enjoyed what I did at the Carpet Barn. I enjoyed the people I worked with. They had great people there. But I just knew it wasn't for me. Construction wasn't for me. And so I got my act together and I went and applied for Ohio Wesleyan.
What was that?
Ohio Wesleyan. It's a small liberal arts school in Delaware, Ohio, which for people who don't know, it's maybe about a 20-minute drive north of Columbus, between Columbus and Cleveland. Very small school, smaller than Clark, I believe. I think there were maybe 600 people in my class, so maybe 2,400 people total. I went there for 4 years, graduated, came back to Las Vegas, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had a couple different jobs. I actually got my real estate license back in 1995. That would have been a different life if I had stayed in real estate over the last 30 years, especially my parents. But
you'll be doing commercials.
But when I was getting my real estate license, you had to go to real estate school. There was one over on Sahara and like Valley View. So I went there. That's a couple months. Do you know Marty Keach?
Who?
The attorney, Marty Keach?
No, that name is not familiar.
He used to be partners with my father way back in the day. He used to be my father, David Chesnoff,
I know
Marty Keach. And when I was going to real estate school, I worked for him to earn some money. And he did civil. He was the civil person in the firm. My dad, of course, in Chestnut, he did the criminal, but Marty did civil. And while I was working for him, he had a civil trial, and it was a very exciting civil trial. I'm not getting into the weeds of it, but he let me come to court with him. He let me sat there during the jury trial. He let me do some of the smaller things like go out and interview some witnesses and make sure they show up to court and like handle the documents and stuff like that. And for somebody who grew up with my father, who was always told about the court and how much he enjoyed and was told all the stories about his life as an attorney, when I actually got in there and I sat in there with Marty and actually sat through a trial, it's like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is my calling. So I took the LSATs and I got into University of Pennsylvania, School of Law. Went
That's
to Penn.
far.
Well, it's not that far because my father's from Philadelphia.
Okay.
But
you're still living in Vegas.
I'm still living in Vegas, but when we were growing up, my mother's from New York, my father's from Philadelphia. My mom has had some of her family in the outskirts of Philadelphia on the main line. So we would go out to Philadelphia a lot. In fact, when I went to law school, his mother, my grandmother, was still living in Philadelphia. And my brother Oscar, who had gone out to Philadelphia for college, he went to Swarthmore, a small liberal arts school on the outskirts of Philadelphia. He went to medical school at Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia. So we had those connections to Philadelphia. My dad was always an Eagles fan, Sixers fan, Phillies fan. So, distance-wise, it was far. But what I was going out to was my grandmother, my brother, a city that I kind of knew because we went there all the time when I was growing up. My mother's sister lived outside of Philadelphia on the main line, which is kind of like the suburbs, like Summerlin of Philadelphia. A lot of family out there. So it was very comfortable going out to Philadelphia. And didn't seem that far because I kind of grew up going there. Graduated from Penn in 1999.
Penn State?
No, University of Pennsylvania. University of Pennsylvania is in Philadelphia. Penn State is in Happy Valley. Penn State is Big Ten. Penn is Ivy League. So different leagues. Penn State most likely might win the championship this year for football. Penn will never even see a ticket to go to the championship. Different types of schools. Penn every once in a while, because they're Ivy League, they'll make the NCAA tournament when they let one of those teams come in, but they're not a sports team. They're not a sports school. But I went to Penn, graduated from Penn. I worked for a huge law firm in Philadelphia for 2 years. Ballard, Sparta, Anderson, Ingersoll. Wow. And if you had, I believe, have you had Judge Gall? Have you interviewed Judge Gall?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Before the election.
They actually have they have an office out in Las Vegas, which is nice. But she actually works before she became a judge for Ballard, Sparta, Anderson, Ingersoll in Las Vegas before she became a judge. But I worked out there for 2 years. I realized in a firm like that, I'm never getting into the courtroom ever. We had partners there who've never seen the inside of a courtroom. It's an exaggeration, but they just do that kind of practice. It's a civil firm. It's a large civil firm. And I knew that while the money was there, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in the courtroom. So I moved back to Las Vegas 2002-ish. And I got a job clerking for Judge Lee Gates.
I know.
You seem to know Judge Gates. Yeah. I love Judge Gates.
Why'd you pick Judge Gates? Or did he pick you?
Dave Brown, who became my partner in the law firm, Dave. Dave had clerked for Judge Gates previously. A lot of people clerked for Judge Gates over the years. And when I was talking about coming back, he's like, you should clerk for Judge Gates. Like, I clerked for him. He was like an amazing person. And he'd be a great person to clerk for. So when I came back and met with him and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, the person who's is clerking for me, one of the Casaverdes, he's leaving. I do need a clerk. You'd be perfect fit. I'm like, absolutely. But now it's at the old courthouse.
Casaverdes got all kinds of commercials now.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, like I said, a lot of people have clerked for Judge Gates over the years. A lot of great attorneys and some judges. B.D. Yeager, Judge Yeager, she clerked for him. All kinds of people. So, but I loved being in the court. I loved being a clerk for Judge Gates. I did that for a year. And then I opened up a firm with David Brown and Pui Premsurat. We opened up a firm. I did criminal defense. Dave also did criminal defense, but he was kind of moving into what his dad does, G. Brown, a lot more into the business licensing and all that stuff. And Pui handled civil. from the moment I walked into a courtroom as a defense attorney, because walking up to the courthouse, I thought I was going to throw up. The first time I went to court as a defense attorney, I was so nervous.
How old were you?
I am at this point.
No, when you wanted to throw up.
First time.
This is my first very time
Yeah,
going in front of
how old were
a
you
judge
then?
as a defense attorney. 33.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, and if you've ever talked to my dad, what is now the Mob Museum and was for a while was a post office, that used to be a courthouse. And my dad will tell you the first time he went to go do a jury trial in that courthouse, he threw up on the steps
Really?
leading up to the courthouse because he was so nervous.
Wow.
Because the reality of it is now somebody's life is in your hands.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a joke anymore. I mean, somebody, whether they go to prison, whether they don't go to prison, whether they get probation, whether the state can prove their case, I mean, whatever it is, that's in your hands.
Yeah.
And if you're not nervous,
Mhm.
you should be.
Mhm.
And if you're not nervous every time you go to court and I don't want to say that. I mean, the nerves die down over time. I mean,
Right.
but it's like
Kind of get used to it.
when you hear about a quarterback
Mhm.
throwing up before a game, some people think, oh, there's something wrong with him. No, I mean, you realize, what you're getting into. You realize what's expected of you.
Yeah.
And all you want to do is your best
Yeah.
for people. So that first day I was walking up there and I was rethinking some of my life choices. But then I went into court, and like anything else, I walk into court and everything goes smoothly. And the next time was easier, and the next time much easier and much easier. But I just love the courtroom. I love being in court. I love doing jury trials. I love doing prelims, bench trials. But I really loved the research. I loved the writing. I loved the arguments. I loved all of that. And Dave and Pui and I were partners for 5 years. And it's like, our lease is up. We're going to stay here. What are we going to do? And it's like, I love the court. I want to be a judge. So in 2000 and at the end of 2007, beginning of 2008, I made a decision to run for justice court. They had opened up a new seat.
Who'd you run against?
Well, there was nobody, but they had started 2 new seats. They'd opened up 2 new seats, and I ran in one. Judge Sullivan, who's also been on the bench for 17 years, she ran for the other seat, but no, I didn't have anybody opposing me at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love what I do.
So you've been a judge ever since?
Yes.
You
And
always run unopposed?
Yes,
yes, hasn't ran a race yet. Yeah.
that is correct.
And
But I like to think I have a good reputation. I mean, I think if you talk to the defense attorneys, if you talk to the DAs, I think I have a good reputation. I think
and you were married,
I was married. I have 2 kids. I have,
and Stephanie, she's now the regent.
she's a regent.
Yeah.
She is a regent, but I have Jacob, who is 18.
Mhm.
He just went up to Reno to start, hopefully not the year I had at Reno, but he's starting his first UNR. I guess it's Nevada now.
Mhm.
I've got a daughter, 17,
Mhm.
who is in her senior year at the Meadows.
Mhm.
And then I have what I consider my bonus daughter, although she's not my biological daughter, Addie. She is starting her freshman year at Goodman.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
but
You got a very, very lengthy bio.
well, that's why I asked you. What
I like
did I
it.
ask you?
I like it. I
What
like
did
it.
I ask you?
I
You
like
want the
it.
short version or
No,
the long
I like
version?
the long version.
The thing is,
That way people could understand exactly who you are.
some people took the straight and narrow, high school, college, law school, work for a firm, went and became a judge. That was not my experience at all. I mean, my experiences growing up were very different, and that's kind of what I bring to the bench.
Okay.
Kind of coming out of a different lived experience.
Okay.
I mean, you work for tips, you work construction, you spend a year working in a warehouse. Trying to live off of $7.50 an hour in a 2-bedroom apartment. And given that was 1991, so I'm probably like $12 an hour now.
Mhm.
But you learn quickly. a different side of life that if you just go on the straight and narrow, you just never see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ms. Phillips?
We're glad when that judges come on. We talked to our last guest, who was a judge as well, about some judges don't want to come on. And we appreciate when you guys do, because the public can get an idea of who you guys are, who is on the bench, and because no one knows you guys. And this is a great way for you to, the public to get to know you guys.
Well, we're not
And
on
what-
TV.
Yeah.
My parents were on TV.
Right.
The county commission's on TV, city council's on TV. Nobody ever sees us. The only time somebody might see me, and I'm talking about the majority of people, I'm in justice court, and for people who don't know, and hopefully the people who are watching this have kind of an idea of what we do. Just kind of give an overview of the court system. I hate the word bottom, but because it sounds like an insult, but kind of towards the bottom, you have hearing masters who hear evictions, they hear traffic tickets. You have small claims court for civil. I forget what the number is. I've never done so. That's usually hire attorneys come in to be judges for that. One step up, you have, and again, I hate to rank it like this, but you have municipal court, which is the city. Those are all misdemeanors that are committed within the city boundaries, whether that's a trespass, whether that's a battery, a DUI, they all go over to municipal court. We're justice court. We handle all misdemeanors within the county, excluding Las Vegas. And every gross misdemeanor case and every felony case starts in front of us. So we handle everything. I might handle, and just to kind of give you, I will handle a murder case on the same day that I handle somebody who let their dog off a leash and got a citation because their dog wasn't on a leash. So we really run the gamut of what we see every day.
How much latitude do you guys have when you set bail? Because sometimes you see some people, have a low bail.
We used to have a lot of latitude. A couple of years ago, the Supreme Court, Nevada Supreme Court, came out with a case called Valdez Jimenez, and it really limited, and for good reason. I don't want to put believe me, I'm not speaking ill of the Nevada Supreme Court. The problem with the old bail setting was if you're rich, you're right out because you're affording the bail to get out. If you're poor, you're sitting in there because you can't afford the bail. So the Supreme Court took a look at it and said, this is not fair, treating people differently depending on how much money they have. We have to redo this. So now the focus is more on, well, one, you still look at the danger. First of all, so people are aware of this, you look at the type of crime they committed, the danger they pose to the community, their criminal history. But now there's a lot more focus on their financial ability to pay to get out. So you don't punish the poor and keep them in. Well, somebody who's rich is doing the exact same thing, is just getting out within 24 hours because they can afford bail. So it kind of limited what we could do, but I think for the most part, for the better. Yes. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Just how much latitude you guys have with bail, because sometimes you see, some of these people are accused with horrific crimes, and they get, a slap on the wrist, so to speak, as far as bail on some of these.
Generally what happens is everybody, when you're arrested within, I think, 48 hours, you go to initial appearance court, which is a separate court where when you're arrested, you see them within 48 hours, sometimes within 24 hours, but usually within 48 hours. It's downstairs in the courthouse. If anyone wants to go to the courthouse and watch, I think it's I'm trying to think of the courtrooms. I think it's in either 1A or 1B. And there's a judge sits there, and the DA is there, and the PD is there. And the judge will have reviewed the police report. and they'll have reviewed any financial documents, and the DA will get up and say, we'd like this amount of bail. The PD will stand up and say, of course, we want my client out. But it starts down there with one judge kind of making the decision. With what we do, because we're not a court, very rarely do we get bail motions because they're generally set downstairs in the basements.
That's Judge Bauckham that does that one?
That is Judge Bauckham right now. And so with that, as the judges change it downstairs, there are some judges who have been more liberal in the past, and I think Judge Bauckham is less liberal. And we'll set higher bails down in the basement, whether you think that's good or whether you think that's bad. What's that?
What do they have her in the basement?
Oh, transportation. We've got to bring people over from the jail.
Oh.
So everybody's coming over from the jail. And if you've ever seen that,
you guys got the tunnels, right?
Yeah, they go underneath the street.
Yeah.
So they bring people right over from the jail, and they have that area back there where they sit, and then you can move people quicker.
Gotcha.
You can move people quickly between the jail and see the judge, and figure out whether or not they're going to file charges. If they're going to file charges, what's the bail going to be set at? Do we have any restrictions? So that's why it's in the basement.
Gotcha.
It's not a punishment. It's simply to
mad at her.
No. It's simply because it's for ease of movement of people.
Gotcha.
You want to get people in front of a judge as quickly as possible, and if they're going to be released, because the state's not filing charges, they need more time to investigate a case. You want to get them back as quickly as possible so they get out of custody as quickly as possible. Just because you're accused doesn't mean you're guilty.
True.
And
I like that.
Yeah, and you've got people who it may take months for their case to be investigated and decide whether or not to bring charges, but meanwhile, they're sitting in jail and they got to get to work tomorrow.
I tell everybody that anybody could get arrested, but not everybody could get convicted.
True.
If you're innocent.
True.
Right?
One of the hardest cases I've ever had, and I'll never forget this case, is I represented a kid in front of a jury who was 100% innocent. And that was difficult.
Why, if he's innocent? Why was it difficult?
Because he was looking at prison. And I had to convince the jury, the 12 people who don't know him,
right,
that he's innocent. I mean, I don't have to prove that he's innocent. Let me correct that. I have to show that the state can't prove that he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
But they had a witness who swore that it was him, and it wasn't him. And I know it wasn't him. And I know it wasn't him because it was his brother who did it. And seriously.
So you got him off.
Oh, I got him not guilty. I mean, but that was the most stressful week of my life.
Yeah.
While I was trying to pick apart.
You sound like you're very passionate about what you do.
Well, I grew up with my father, who was passionate about what he did. My father always believed, and I kind of caught on with this, is that you shouldn't let the government steamroll people. Mm-hmm. The government has rules for us. We have rules for the government. It's Constitution.
Right.
So if we're going to obey the rules that they put down, they should be obeying the Constitution.
Right.
So
I agree with you 100%.
Okay, good. And I assume I'm not going to get a rant from you.
Yeah.
Don't do a rant on me.
Yeah, I think you probably agree with me on that.
Yeah, we'll see next week what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, my job as a judge is to hold everybody accountable. Right. That is people accused of crimes. That is Metro. That is NHP, Highway Patrol. In some cases, that might be the FBI who do something improper. That's the attorneys, whether it's a defense attorney, a DA. Sometimes that's witnesses, and sometimes that's victims who will get up there and lie on the stand. So my job is not to pick a side. My job is to hold everybody in the criminal justice accountable for what they did. I mean, that's what I do.
So you and Judge Wood came together and started Mental Health Court.
Yes, and that was...
What inspired you to do that, by the way? Did she a need that we needed that here in Las
It's
Vegas?
been in need for a long time. It has been in need.
Why wasn't it done earlier?
We couldn't.
Okay.
There's a saying, we are creatures of statute. Justice Court, we are creatures of statute. If the statute doesn't say we can do something, we can't do it.
Okay.
Like everything that we do is written out in the statute. There was a statute that allowed for the district court to have a mental health court. And the district court has had a mental health court since probably the 70s. But that statute was written probably in the late 60s or early 70s when we were a town of 200,000 people. When I talked to my dad, there were maybe 2 or 3 district court judges and 1 or 2 justice court judges. And I feel pretty certain in saying that nobody back then, when they wrote that, thought we'd become a county of 3 million people, become what we are. So
And growing.
and growing. So we couldn't do it. We had to get together and with the legislature, and we talked to some. And the great thing was with an issue like this, both the Democrats and Republicans came together and passed the law that would allow us to do this. I mean, everybody saw the need for this.
Yeah.
But I came out of private practice. I would say over the course of a year, I'd handle 1,000 cases, give or take. I mean, and when I took the bench in 2009, I'm coming into a caseload of somewhere between 12 and 14,000 cases. And I'm seeing 400 a week, 500 a week.
That's a lot.
And within a couple months, 6 months, 8 months, I started to see people in custody who I recognized. Not initially. I mean, you see somebody 6 months later, 8 months later, you see them again, but maybe you see them again another month later and they're in for something else. And I just started to see this revolving door over at CCDC. Most of the people were homeless. Most people were transient. And most of them had real drug issues, mental health issues, alcohol issues. And there was really no help for them. And it became really frustrating, both as a judge, just to see these people in and out, in and out, in and out. It should be somebody that taxpayer has concerns about, because I forget what it was back in 2009, but the cost of keeping somebody locked up in CCDC for 24 hours, I'm going to say now it's probably about $225, $250.
Went up.
Well, inflation. Price of food goes up. Price
Last
of
time I heard it
medication
was
goes up.
$140 for male and $180 for female, and
Oh,
that was a few years back.
yeah, it goes up. I mean, as inflation goes up, as the cost of food goes up, is because they're not hiring enough COs, overtime, all that stuff. So it just only goes up. Trust me, I'd love to see it come down, but it's never going to come down. But so you keep somebody in custody for a week, 10 days. I mean, let's give you 175. Let's come in the middle. Let's go to 175 a day. Keeping somebody in jail for 10 days because they're homeless, they have mental health issues, they have drug issues. $1,750 in taxpayer money is paying for that, for them to be over there. And that's one person. Give them 30 days, you're not tripling that. Give them a couple months, it's only going up and up and up. And that's taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
That's being spent on housing these people.
So you're fiscally conservative.
Yes. Hold on a second. hold on a second.
Careful, you're walking a fine line.
I am all over the place. Like most people, I am all over the place, which is, I think, the way most people are. I believe in capitalism, but I believe in a union. I believe in unions. I believe in both of those things, having grown up in Las Vegas. So I'm absolutely in favor of capitalism. As you're on your phone, which is a product of capitalism, doing what we're doing. Absolutely love capitalism, but I believe we need a strong middle class.
Yes.
I feel like I'm 54. I'm not going to ask how old you are.
57.
Okay, so you're a little bit older than me, but
Respect your elders.
as I was growing up, when I see like countries fail economically, it's because they lost the middle class.
Right.
And I'm afraid that that's where we're heading right now, is we're losing the middle class. And how do you have a strong middle class? Unions. You know, you have to have unions. You have to have union support. You have to have them pushing the corporations so that people can live a better life. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pro-capitalism, also pro-union. I've been a long-time union supporter since I was a kid. Yeah, but my parents are also union supporters. Oh my gosh. When my dad was mayor, he got a lot of grief from some of the casino owners because he would not go to the properties to have events because they weren't union.
No showgirls for him.
No. Yeah. So my family's always been pro-union. I mean, the union was very supportive when my parents were in. And yeah, I mean, to me, you need unions.
You do.
Yeah. And to me, they should make it as easy as possible to form unions. They shouldn't make it as difficult as it is. The way I look at it, and you can, either one of you correct me where I'm wrong, the economy should be an even playing field. Corporations unionize, they don't call them unions, they call them associations. Automakers, pharmaceutical companies, it might be doctors, it might be lawyers, they all have associations. They all come together and they pool their money and they hire lobbyists, they hire lawyers, and they go and they lobby Congress, Senate, local governments to get the best deal they can for their corporations. And if there's a law coming along that's going to hurt them a little bit, they want to make sure that thing isn't too bad. So they all get together and they unionize, but they call it an association, and they do what's best for them. And if the corporations are going to do that, the people who work for those corporations should absolutely be able to do that. And there are no card checks if the automobile makers want to form an association. There are no card checks for the pharmaceutical company, the weapons makers. They're just like, all right, we're going to unionize. We're going to pool our money. We'll hire lobbyists, some of whom are former politicians, some of whom used to work in the government, and other lobbyists. We're going to pool our money. We're going to get the best deal we can from our government. And if you're going to allow the corporations to do that, absolutely 100% the workers should be able to do that. So yes, I hold both. Yeah, I'm at both ends on that. Pro-capitalism, pro-union. Yeah.
What about the other side of that?
Which part?
When they push too much and it costs the corporation too much money and they go out of business, and then everybody loses their job because they had too stiff of requirements and they were asking for too much and there was such little profit, the corporation couldn't survive.
Well, I guess the counter argument to that is, do you know anything about the company towns in the United States back in like the 1700s and 1800s, where the company owned basically the town and they printed their own money, and that was your pay, was the company money. They printed it. You had to spend your money at the company store. You live in the company homes. This did not end back in the 17 or 1800s. I mean, when I was growing up, and there's a documentary about the coal miners. I believe, and I haven't seen this since in high school, maybe college, but there's a documentary about the coal miners in, I want to say Kentucky, and maybe West Virginia, and it's in the 70s, 1970s, and it is still a company town. In the 70s, and they work in the mines, and the government and the sheriff and the police are all in the pocket of the oil and gas and coal companies, and they live in these homes, which are really like shanty homes. I think for some of them, they didn't have water. There's no air conditioning, and you worked in that mine. And this is 1970s in America. You would work in that mine. If you got sick, didn't matter. You're going to go to work. You got hurt, didn't matter. You're going to go to work, because if it didn't work, they're going to bring somebody else in and you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your little shanty house, and that was going to be it for you. So when I compare what might happen to a corporation to what has happened to American workers, even up into the 70s, I'm going to side with the worker. So, I mean, maybe some corporations rise and fall, but generally, generally the ones that are fun, when somebody's making 100 times what the workers are making, and that company falls, maybe it's not the workers, maybe it's the fact they did, there were stock dividends and they bought stock, and there's other ways for companies to fall other than people being paid a living wage. Yeah.
What's your relationship with the PD and the DA's office?
Well, I mean, it's a vague
Or
question.
do you have a relationship with them?
I mean, I think I have a good relationship with them. You can't be in Las Vegas and be either in private practice, which I was, without getting to know people. It's a small town. I feel like I have a good relationship with my DAs. I feel like I have a good relationship with my PDs. But that ends when they come into court. You go to lunch with somebody and go to dinner with somebody and go to somebody's birthday or whatever. But all of that ends when court starts at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah.
So
There are no favorites.
you've been on the bench for 17 years, and did you preside over DUI treatment court?
I did for 1 year. Well, no, let me back up. When I first started off in 2009 and 2010, we didn't have a DUI court. We didn't have a domestic violence court. Like when I first came in, we handled everything, including civil. We had, really everything. Now we have civil departments, we have DUI, we have DV. So for the first 2 years, I handled DUI, I handled domestic violence cases. In 2011, we started 2 tracks for DUI. I handled one, I volunteered to handle one, and Judge Kephart handled the other one. So for an entire year, I did nothing but DUIs. And it was a very interesting year. It was a very interesting year doing DUIs because one of the chemists at the lab screwed up a criminal case that Dave and I worked on when we were in private practice, a criminal case, and our client ended up doing prison time because he had switched the DNA samples. He had accidentally switched it with his cousin, who was also tested. So his cousin, who had committed the crime, his DNA is now shown as being our client's. And our client's like, I didn't do this, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Like,
This has nothing to do with that one case you were on, right?
which
With
one?
The jury trial.
Oh, no, it's a
It's a
different one.
different one.
But so that chemist, he screwed up the results because he switched the blood results. So our client went to jail for a couple of years and he got a big payout when he got out. And they didn't realize until like years later when his cousin got caught on a serious crime out in California and they put his DNA into the national database.
Right.
And they got this weird anomaly in Las Vegas where it didn't match up with what was going on around the country. And that's when they realized, oh boy, our chemist made a mistake. And
Sure, it was the chemist.
yeah, because he was fired. So all of the DUI,
Fired. He should do time.
so all of the blood samples he had done, all the DUI testing he had done for over a year, they're all in front of me.
Uh-huh.
If it was a serious case, they had to retest, which you can imagine how much time that would take,
Right.
or they had to negotiate the case to rankless and stuff like that.
Could you imagine you're in prison for a crime you did not commit because that happened? The chemist screwed up the samples. That's just crazy.
I know.
That's one thing to be an accident. It's another when you do it intentionally.
I don't think he did it intentionally.
No.
I
I
don't
mean,
think he did
I mean, in
intentionally.
other cases where maybe prosecutors withhold evidence and somebody goes to prison because they withheld that evidence.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Those people should be in jail, in my opinion.
There should be some sort of punishment. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we all have rules we have to follow. Follow the rules. You have professional rules, whether you're a DA or a PD, follow them.
I think they need to change the law to where there are no statute of limitations on that. If a prosecutor is to be found that they withheld evidence and somebody went to prison, I don't think there should be a statute of limitations on that. In my opinion.
That is above my pay grade.
Yeah.
That is above my
It's a
pay
legislature
grade.
thing.
Yeah, that's a legislature thing.
Do you think the judges should play a more active role with the homelessness that's in this town?
I think we're trying to.
And how
I had mentioned, I don't think this is on camera. I think we had this conversation beforehand, but I mentioned Judge Yeager, B.D. Yeager, is a district court judge, and I believe she handles. Is she handling mental health up in district court? I'm sorry, I never get up to district court, but she started when she was a justice court judge for a while, and she started a community court, and this had to be maybe 8 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago. So she started a community court to try to help the homeless. Those were very basic, to help them with very basic needs. I mean, as you can imagine, somebody's homeless, they probably don't have a driver's license, they don't have an ID. They don't know how to do basic things anymore once you're on the streets for a while. So that was to help people get off the streets and kind of help build a structure for them in their lives so they can move on from the streets. What we wanted to do was address the mental health issue with the mental health court, which is why Judge Wood and I started the mental health court, is we wanted to really hit the mental health issues that are affecting those people. The violent people, the people that everybody are concerned about, the person who stabbed somebody on the strip, those people don't come to us. They go up to district court. It's a violent crime. They go up to district court. They're out of our hands. We are more of the quality of life type situation. And it's difficult because I deal with individuals every Monday. You know, Nadia and I run the mental health court every Monday. Actually, I'll be handling some of it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're trying to get some more people in. So I don't want to put down anybody who's on the streets or say anything that's going to be taken the wrong way. But, you know, when you're somebody's outside and they're not dressed, I'll say, you know what I mean? You know, things are showing. The people are kind of like yelling into the air. The person who might like pick up a rock and throw it at a car. You know, those people who, they're not violent. They need help. They need to be medicated. So the purpose is to get them medicated. A lot of people have had this issue for years and years and years and years, and it's not easy. A lot of them resist because it's easier to be on the streets than it is to be in a program. So we do get some people who kind of push back and don't want to do it. But our entire goal is to really create that structure in their lives. They're on their medication. They're taking their medication. They're in therapy. They're going to their therapy. If they need occupational therapy, they go to occupational therapy. If they have drug issues, alcohol issues, we'll put them in treatment to deal with those issues. And a lot of that work at the beginning is work we're doing to help them build that structure, but probably much like boot camp, where at a certain point they start to leave you on your own when you begin to learn things. After a while, we kind of transfer that to them and let them work on their own. We guide them, we help them, but we let them do it on their own so they get that sense that I've accomplished this. The judge didn't do this. I accomplished this. I did this. And, you know, hopefully that's a springboard to living a better life and getting off the streets. And it's been successful so far. Thank you for coming. You were at the first graduation.
She was it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you just kind of cornered me. You kind of cornered me. So
Went in the back room.
yeah, so you just kind of cornered me. So I talked to you, but thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
It was great. I love
We
it.
had 13 people. We start small. I believe right now we have about 23 to 26 participants, but you have to start small. I'm learning.
Right.
This has been my first year. Judge Wood is learning. We both have made mistakes, and we learn from our mistakes, and we try to do better with how we're dealing with the people in front of us. And if we start off with anything more than I think like 20 to 30, we would be overwhelmed. And I don't think we could treat everybody the way they need to be treated in a court like that, to give them the help they need. We have another small graduation. We do it every 4 months. So the first one, it was a lot of people because a lot of people came in the first year. That was 13. I think we have somewhere between 3 and 5 graduating on Monday coming up. And there might be one or two also walking, even though they're not graduating.
This is the mental health court.
Yeah, mental health court. And I mean, it's rewarding.
I like the pinstripe. Oscar always wear those too.
Oh, thank you. Well, I learned my sense of fashion from my father, for better or worse, given that he was a modeler in the 70s. So you can imagine what he wore. Yeah.
So Judge Goodman, in 2013, you had a serious injury.
Yeah.
How did that affect your, if any, your decision-making on the bench?
I follow the law. I mean, like I said, I love the law. I mean, when I was a defense attorney, it was all about what the case law said. I mean, you can make your arguments, but it was facts and law and decision. I mean, that never changed. What changed it I don't know if you know what happened.
Just what I read.
Well, it was in the paper.
I read that and I glimpsed at a police report.
I didn't realize, I never knew this. The issue with being adopted is I never knew my medical history.
Gotcha.
I mean, I couldn't, I didn't know I had genetically just high blood pressure. I mean, and it was something that never came to my mind growing up in the 80s when you thought of high blood pressure as something that somebody older, somebody out of shape, somebody didn't eat, smoke, drink, that they would have that. But genetically I had it, and apparently I've always had it. And I was out running one day doing like a 7-mile run, and my blood pressure got too high.
7 miles? Why? Are you training for a marathon?
No, well, like when I tell you, I mean, when I was growing up in the 80s, everybody played 3 sports.
Nice 3 miles would have worked.
Well, what I was training for was there's a Spartan race coming up. The Nevada Spartan race where you got to do like 10 to 11 miles. So I was kind of getting ready for the Spartan race that was coming up, I think in March. So just putting in some miles to prepare for the Spartan race. But I'd probably gotten about 3 or 4 miles and my blood pressure shot up. And when my blood pressure shot up, I went down.
Yeah.
I mean, just my body couldn't handle it. My legs went out from underneath. What happened is I went to the park to get some water. I mean, this is the best I could tell from talking to the doctor who found me and saved me. I went to get some water, and when I stopped, you were in the military. You know, you can't, if you do a long hike or a long run, you can't stop moving. You got to keep moving for a while, keep the blood flowing. I'd stopped to get a drink of water, and I just collapsed.
Yeah, they said, don't sit down, walk around, put your arm above your head.
Yeah, but I didn't know I had high blood pressure. So when I stopped to get a drink of water, I bent over, face first into the water fountain, fell back, hit the back of my head, and thankfully a doctor, of all people, there was nobody at the park. It's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday in the middle of winter. There's nobody there. And I talked to him. He usually walks his dogs one way. And for whatever reason, that day, he decided to walk his dogs a different way and go to the park. And he was the one who found me and called 911.
That was divine intervention.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what it does. I mean, what it does is it makes you appreciate life more.
It does.
I mean, it gives you a different outlook on life when you almost die. I mean, I was in a coma for 10 days. Medically induced coma, came out of that. And it's really... Yeah, you really appreciate life when you almost die at 43, 44. Yeah.
They always say you take things for granted until you don't have them anymore. Like walking.
100%. 100%.
Like feeding yourself or giving yourself a bath or what have you.
Yeah. But I appreciate life a lot more. So, but being a judge, to me, it's always been, these are the rules. We all follow the rules. And so it didn't really never change that.
So how many elections you ran unopposed?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think that came from? That nobody is running against you?
I think initially it came because of my parents, but I think as soon as I had a good reputation as a defense attorney. Okay. I was always a legitimate defense attorney, and I had done a number of jury trials with all kinds of DAs, and I had a good reputation with the DAs. So I think when I ran, it wasn't like anybody was upset that I was running, because I was always seen as a legitimate defense attorney. And you know who they are. I mean, you've been around a long time. John Monmouth, Bill Terry. If any of those guys ran, they'd be like, oh, great. We love that guy.
Terry was my buddy.
Bill Terry was amazing.
Everybody's buddy.
Yeah. From Bill Terry was the kind of person, when he would come into court, and, you know, God rest his soul, when he would come into court, and I was on the bench, if he told me it was raining gold bricks outside, I'd go and run and grab a garbage bag and run outside to grab my gold bricks because it was raining gold bricks outside. That man he was true to his word. If he told you something as a defense attorney, as an attorney, if he told me something, if he told the DA something, he was going to live by it. And that's the way attorneys should be. I mean, whatever you tell somebody, whether it's your clients, whether it's the opposing parties, whether it's the judge, that's your word. Be a man of your word or a woman of your word. Yeah. So that was Bill Terry.
Yeah, he shouldn't have smoked those cigarettes. That was his demise.
I mean, look, that was that
Should have went running with you.
No, that was that generation. That was that generation. As they all smoked, they all drank like fish. Yeah. I mean, my dad has stories in the old days where as soon as court was done, out came the gin.
Yeah, out came the gin.
That was the 70s.
What was the name of that bottle of gin?
The blue.
The blue one.
Bottle.
What's the name?
Bombay.
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 I brought Caroline, your mom,
Okay.
a bottle of Bombay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She says, I'm going to give this to Oscar.
Yeah. My dad loves a Bombay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was never a gin guy.
Yeah.
No. Well, the problem is my dad used to drink Beefeater. Have you ever had Beefeater?
Mm.
Take paint thinner. Take paint thinner and drink that because that's about the taste of like Beefeater. It's horrible.
Paint thinner.
So my dad used to drink Beefeater. So I was in high school. I was like, oh, I want to see my dad's drinking, and I poured myself a shot of Beefeater. Oh no, turn me off to gin. So I'm not a gin person. Yeah, I like whiskey. I like bourbon. So,
Ms. Phillips, do you have anything else for Judge Goodman?
No, I'm sure we could talk forever, but I know we've kept you long enough.
oh no, what time is
But
it?
thank you.
Oh, okay, all right.
Judge, before we go, Judge Goodman,
Sure.
Could you explain to folks what exactly a justice of the peace does for the city of Las Vegas?
Well, not for the city of Las Vegas.
Oh, for Las
That's municipal court. Or
Las
for
Vegas.
Clark County.
Yeah, for Clark County.
Wow, that's a big question. If you get a traffic ticket, some traffic has become civil now because of the legislature, but if you get a reckless, you don't have your insurance, you don't have your car registered, you're going to see us on the traffic ticket. If you get a citation, if you are trespassing, you have no idea how many laws there are. There are too many laws. If I ever went into politics, the first thing I do is I go through the books and I get rid of some of the laws we don't need. There are so many laws. But
You want to run for Congress?
no, not at all. I love what I do. I have behind me, sitting at the bench as a judge, behind me I have, I think, 35 to 40 NRS, which are all the laws and all the regulations in Clark County. And it only gets bigger. It never gets smaller. It only gets bigger. There's only more laws. But like I said, if you build a casita in the back of your house, the proper permits, you're going to see me. If you get arrested, you're most likely going to see me. That could be it's not going to be in a DUI, me personally, but it'll be a justice court judge. Domestic violence, they have their own tracks. But really, like I said, anything from you got too drunk at a bar and you'd want to leave, you got trespass, all the way up to murder cases start off in front of us. We do, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've been talking for a while. We do bench trials for misdemeanors where it's an actual trial and they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this occurred.
Okay.
We do what are known as preliminary hearings on gross misdemeanors and felony cases. There are two different ways to get a case that's a gross misdemeanor or felony up to district court. From us up to district court, they're the higher court. One is with the prelim, one is through the grand jury. But they tend to reserve the grand jury for more complicated cases, murder cases. And so we still do hear murder cases, prelims for murder cases, but many of the more complicated cases go to a grand jury and then it's indicted. So a preliminary hearing, it looks like a trial. They call the witnesses. The state will ask questions. They introduce evidence. They the defense has a chance to ask questions. I mean, it looks exactly like a trial, only the burden's much lower.
Right.
With the jury trial, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. With the prelim, is there some evidence that you did this? And I hate to say it, but it's getting easier and easier for the DAs because of cameras. One, cameras, and two, social media. The number of cases that are solved because people want to post the robbery and lay out their money on their bed and show off their gun. I mean, it's amazing to me what you find. You know, it just blows my mind.
Well,
It blows
That's just dumb.
There's cameras everywhere. You cannot go anywhere and not be on camera. So, you know,
No,
criminals should realize.
Don't be a dumb criminal.
Yeah, they're going to get caught.
I have seen police reports where they know a crime happened over here, and miles away they'll start tracking through video, security cameras, door cameras, the ring cameras.
Right. Yep.
They'll start tracking this car's progress. See if at any point they can see a license plate. See if at any point they can see the face, and it'll be miles and miles of security camera footage of somebody until they can figure out who it is and figure out who did it. Yeah, it's getting easier for the DA at a prelim and also a trial in front of the district court.
Have you toured any of the jails recently?
I have not here. The last one I toured was in Miami.
Okay. How come you don't tour the ones here?
I've been to the jail multiple times when I was a defense attorney. I spent
But not
hours.
since you've been a judge.
What's that?
Not
Oh,
since-
no. But I mean, for 5 years, I mean, there was rarely a day when I was not over at CCDC, meeting with clients in CCDC. I mean, both the North Wing and the South Wing, I was over there on the daily to meet with them, talk about their cases. Here's the offer. Do you want to accept the offer? I can counter. What do you want me to counter with? These are the issues you're going to have at trial. These are the places where maybe you can win on those issues with this judge. I mean, I spend hours and hours and hours at the jail when I was in private practice.
Do you think it'll be good for judges to visit the jails since they're sending people there?
I think if you didn't come from my background, where I spent hundreds of hours at the jail. If you didn't come from that end, or maybe a PD where you spend a lot of time over there. I mean, even the DA spent time over there as the interview witnesses. But yeah, I think it's a good idea if you come out of the civil practice to go over to the jail. I think it's a good idea to go over. I went up to High Desert and Southern Desert all the time. I would get a lot of appointments on appeals when I was in private practice. We file our appeals to the Supreme Court, back to the Supreme Court. Since then, we have an appellate court. But I handled a lot of appeals. And I would go up to High Desert and Southern Desert and spend a lot of time up there meeting with people who've been convicted and talking about their cases and what issues we have and what we're going to do and how to handle it. So I spent a lot of time up at the prison also. And I believe the jail's temporary. Prison's not temporary. I believe any civil judge is going to be.
Unless you're at jail for 3 years.
Well, that's true. Okay, you're right. You're always going to find an exception, but you're right. But if you're going to send somebody to prison, you're going to send somebody to prison for 12 months, 24 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. You should go up and spend some time in the prison to see where you're sending these people.
Okay.
It's not a cakewalk.
Yeah.
It's not a party.
Absolutely.
It's prison.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, the judges are going to do it should know exactly what it is. Yeah. It's not, federal's different. You have camps. And you can go to a camp in the federal system. You can be rich, steal a lot of money, and go to a camp. And it's a camp. Basketball court. Family comes and visits you, but that's
Federal
High Desert and Southern Desert. High Desert and Southern Desert. No,
None of that.
it's prison. It's prison.
Ms.
Yeah.
Phillips, do you have anything else with Judge Goodman?
I don't.
Judge Goodman,
Thanks
do you
for
have
coming.
anything that you want to say that we haven't said or you
No,
like?
no. Look, I appreciate you having me on here. I appreciate you coming to the mental health court graduation. I appreciate you coming to the mental health court graduation. Hopefully, we need support. We need funding, especially now that some of the funding is drying up because of Trump. Unfortunately, some of the funding that's going to help people is drying up. But you know what? Give us some bubble gum and tape and whatever, and we'll just make it work with whatever we have because it's important.
You could also do fundraisers too, right? For the mental court system.
No, judges
cannot.
are not allowed to get involved in fundraisers. We
Really?
cannot go out and ask for money from people. Judges, that's one of the rules we have. We're not allowed to raise funds for
Even if it's for the court?
It's my. I've never looked into it, but it's my understanding we're to stay far away from fundraising.
Okay.
Have you
Yeah,
applied for grants?
we have, but we have a grant. It's like a nice grant, but the same people who gave us the grant, they're having the money that they were using for grants taken away. And we go once a year. We've done this now a couple of years. There's a seminar. I mean, it's they handle. It's generally, I think this year was in Orlando. Last year was in Anaheim. But for anybody who's involved in the mental health courts, veterans courts, drug court, community courts, there's a national symposium where you all come together and they have classes and you meet other people, see what they're doing, you talk about what you're doing. And a lot of the conversation this year in Orlando was about the fact that a lot of the money that was promised for treatment is drying up, and it's drying up quickly. But you know what? We'll make do with what we have. I mean, that's just keep moving forward.
And you're up in 26.
Yes.
Are you running for re-election?
Yes, but that would be my last term.
Okay.
That'd be my last term. I feel like if things work out, I do 6 more years. I think at that point it's time for a younger generation of people to come up and kind of make their mark.
Pass the mantle. The mantle.
I mean, a lot of what I do now, I've gotten to be the old guy on the bench. Somewhere became the old guy on the bench. I mean, when I came in, we had Bixler, we had Smith.
They were the old guys.
They were the old guys.
Now you're the old
those
guy.
are the people I went to when I had a question. They're the ones that kind of take care of things, and now I'm that person. And they've all retired and moved on and done other things, and I've become that person. And I figure I'll do it for another 6 years, do what I do, and then at that point, I'll probably just take senior judge status, sit when they want me to sit, and just kind of move on.
Well, Judge Goodman, we appreciate you coming on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm
Mark's,
sorry to meet you at the mental health court, but
That's all right. I know he took you away.
yeah.
Mark's going to zoom in on you, and you can say whatever, vote for me, whatever you want to say.
I don't know.
Whatever you want to say.
I'm not here for the votes.
Come to my mental health court or whatever.
I'm not here for the
Come
votes.
court observe in my courtroom, whatever you want.
Come observe, please. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. He's going to zoom in.
yeah. There you go.
It doesn't look like it's zoomed in.
No. It's
Over there. Okay. I'm Judge Eric Goodman. I am in Department 7B as in boy. I'm on the 7th floor of the Clark County Courthouse. If you want to see how I run court, what happens in my court, everybody's welcome to come. I start at 7:30 Monday through Thursday. Monday afternoon, starting about 12:30, we do the mental health court. And that court really starts about 1:30. But anybody is absolutely welcome to come. Watch what I do, and you can grade me when you see me. If you like me, terrific. Hopefully you do. If you don't like me, tell him, and he'll let me know. But yeah, come to the courthouse. They're open. They're public. Come to the courthouse, watch your judges, learn about what we're doing and why we do it and who's doing what. So come to the courthouse, see us.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Judge Goodman.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
I'm sorry.
Folks, that's Eric Goodman, Las Vegas Justice of the Peace, Department 11. We hope that this program was very informative. There's stuff that I didn't even know about Judge Goodman, and I've known him forever.
I think I met you 20 years ago, 25.
Forever.
I feel good because you're at least wearing a collared shirt today.
Forever.
Every time I
Forever.
see you in a t-shirt. Yeah.
I like the T-shirt.
I know you do. So I'm glad you dressed up for me.
I dressed up for you.
Yeah.
So go to his courtroom. He's inviting everybody to come to his courtroom and
Absolutely.
court observe, and he would appreciate you coming back and just be quiet, turn your phone off, let his marshal know that you're there for court observing and not there for a case, and learn more about Judge Goodman and what he does behind the bench. This is Steve Sampson, Stephanie Phillips of Veterans in Politics. Until next time.